I said Robotics M3. Please feel free to email us on the email address that you'll be seeing on the chat box. For those of you who are looking at this as a recording, you came at the right place at the right time with the right presenters in the right platform. Without wasting any time, I'll hand over to Maneri Johannes for the house rules.
Thank you so much, Tamila. Welcome everybody to Unit 1 of M3. We only have a few small house rules for today. We would like to ask everybody to please mute your cameras to save data and bandwidth. Also to mute your microphones to keep all the background noise to a minimum. If anybody has a question at any point in time, please feel free to raise your hands and we will send the email link in the description later on. And I think that's everything from my side. And over to you, Dr. Goos.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's always good to have a smaller group because then we can have a discussion. And so it's exciting times. I've asked Tamela to set up a poll for us. So Tamela, as soon as your poll is ready, you can let us know and we can put it in the group. It's interesting that we, and yeah, I don't have children at school anymore, so I clean forgot that it's school holidays. So, and it's interesting that we see it immediately on the attendance because, because the teachers are not here. But that said, we are also driving to get our Unisa students trained in robotics. So that is one of the focuses. And often when we start a new session or a new collection of sessions like we're doing now, we kind of need to know where everybody is, how they are. So Tamela, have you got your question up?
Oh, sorry. I was now listening to you and looking at you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So, and it's easy for us to assume too much. So part of this process now is going to be to make sure that if you are lost, if you really don't know what we're talking about, we'd love for you to ask the questions and so that we can move on. We just kind of assume everybody has been with us for so long that they know exactly. And sometimes it's not quite like that. So we've been doing, just for reference, we have been doing these sessions now since September of 2020 as a way to address the restrictions of COVID or to come around. But we have over 400 sessions recorded already. So we've come a long way. All right, Tamela, did you put the thing up?
Yes.
Okay, so there it goes. Do you know where the Unisa Mooc portal is? Just yes or no. And a no would indicate that you have not accessed any of our MOOCs yet. Maybe as a starting point, so the MOOCs are the massive open online courses, the content which is free. And iSet Robotics has 2 already published. 1 is going to get published tonight, and then we have the cybersecurity MOOC as well, and we have a Python MOOC which we're busy developing, and we have an environmental science MOOC which we're busy developing, and then also just for all those teachers who are doing the coding and robotics, there's the DBE 001 and DBE 002 MOOCs as well. Okay, so now we have, everybody needs to go onto the chat and just submit your response, please. So we have 12 people in the session. Only 2 have answered so far.
For those of you who might be struggling on submitting your answer on the poll, you can indicate on the chat box by simply saying yes or no.
I say yes or no, and then you submit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we've got 4 people already there. Anybody else want to submit your?
I see.
Looks like everybody knows where it is. Nobody submitted no yet.
It's Manzini. Wanga Manzini said no.
Oh, is that in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Tamela will give you your moment to talk about your MOOC. All right. Okay. Tamela, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Do you want to do it at the end of the session? Do you want to do it at the end of the session?
No, I can. I think it's better when we do it at the end of the session when a lot of people are in as well. So yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so let me start with the session today.
Sure.
And then and it's a short session, but then what we'll do is then we'll let Tamela then explain how to get onto the Mooc, how to create an account, and how to get onto the Mooc. Awesome. All right. So let me start sharing my screen again. I tell you. There you go. All right, and then I need the voice from the way past to say they can see it.
It's coming through Dr. House. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's there. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we got.
Yes, I can confirm.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So this is the series that we're going to do now for the 4 sessions, and we're going to collapse 2 sessions together, probably 2 and 3. This is Unit 1. And Unit 1 is about a game strategy. And so it's kind of building on the assumption that we've kind of walked the journey of M1 and M2 with us. This is now M3 as a game strategy of how to pull everything together. All right. And of course, this is our navigation information. The M3 will hopefully be published on the portal in the course of this evening and before tomorrow morning. Anzani lives in the post box, and Tamela's happy to talk even about basic sessions. And this is Tamela's little thing that he's going to talk about at the end of the session. All right. So there's M1 and M2, and M1 is really the basics of robotics, and M2 is then sensors and gearing and making your structure more reliable. Whereas M3, what we're doing now is we are working towards a strategy where you take a challenge and you unpack it in terms of its parts, and we're going to talk that through now. Okay, but the reason why we do this is because we need to be able to solve a problem, and you solve a problem through bits and pieces or increments and parts. And just for the fun of it, the Mooc also has a robotics competition. I'm going to tell you more about that as well. And it's open till the 30th of November this year. All right. So this is kind of the Mooc with the difference, because every time I will refer back then to the robotics competition that we have embedded in this Mooc. And today we're going to do about how do you do a game strategy? How do you identify the problem? The next one will be the challenges, tasks, risks, and constraints, where you divide a problem into its parts or tasks, but you need to consider the risks. Okay. Unit 3 is about testing, debugging, and running, and it's always this seconds versus scores. So in any robotics competition, for example, there are a whole lot of missions that you have to do, right? And then you can choose which missions you want to do. And at the end of the day, when you develop your strategy, it is determined by how many points can you score in how many seconds. And if it takes more seconds to get less points, maybe there's a playoff there. And then you always need to improve your solution. And then Unit 4 kind of pulls it all together to say, okay, so if you've done all this work, you've got a strategy, you've identified the challenges, how then do you then present your robot in a meaningful way that everybody understands what you have actually done towards the solution? Okay, and so the small print, there always has to be a small print in this Mooc with a difference, is that you enter the team into a virtual gear robotics competition. And there's no excuse, because there is an open category where there is no age limit, and there's no limit on what robotics kit you can use, and there's also no limit on what programming language you can use. So when you work towards a game strategy, you first got to identify the problem. Okay, and problem solving per se is then part of these 21st century skills that you want to develop. 21st century skills is not taught, it's developed. Okay, and once you then define the problem, then you know where you are, and then you identify the requirements towards your solution. And in all things, you need to be able to apply some techniques of problem solving. Okay, I will eventually get to our robot challenge, the virtual gear challenge. Okay, so let's just unpack the 21st century skills. When you're working with a team of learners and you want to solve a problem, there are different ways of solving the problem. And the way that you don't solve the problem is to say, what do you think? And that's a good solution, and let's go with it. Because usually in a team, there are different learners who see the problem differently. Okay, so you might have one learner who just wants to logically, obviously, that's exactly how you do it. There's another one who's a bit more intuitive, another one is a bit more practical, wants to test something. All right. So whatever you do, when you solve the problem, it must be in parts. Okay. So you take a problem and you figure it out. What is actually the issue? How are you going to solve this problem? Okay. The critical thinking questions are like who, where, why, what, and why, and why, and why. And if you unpack your problem into terms of all these things, then you'll have a better idea of, oh, how do we do this? One of the it's really overwhelming when you get a competition. So if you get any robotics competition and you look at the rules and you say, I can never do this. But if you sit down and you unpack what is required, each part then together will then come as a solution. Okay. And you'll see this now when we kind of figure this out. Creativity, you have to know there's not only one way. All right. And creativity forces the learners to think, well, can we do this differently? What alternative is there to doing it differently? And you'll get some learners that can think of big attachments, some of smaller attachments. So whatever you're doing, the innovation is, if you see it as part of the learning process, when you as the coach will then get your learners to innovatively consider the learning process. Okay. And I really need you as coaches to enforce collaboration and teamwork. There's no I in team. It is never good to let one learner do it solo. Not only is it not good for the rest of the team to shirk their responsibility, but it is not good for the single person that takes the full responsibility. If it's good and it's successful, it's awesome. All right. But if it's not good and it causes stress, it's just not fair on the single team member. Then they're not a team member. They are doing all the work, and the rest are just hanging on. Okay. In terms of computational thinking, when you look at a computer robotics challenge, it's got to be incremental. So you've got to like, what are we going to do first? What are we going to do next? Okay, and then you go. Okay. So here is the launch of our new virtual gear competition. It's called It's a Party. And last year, we kind of took 2020's competition went pear-shaped because the schools closed, and so we couldn't get to the schools. And then everybody had already kind of started on the 2020 gone tubing competition. So then we postponed it to 2021, and so we eventually had it on the Mooc portal till the end of last year. And it was really cool. We had amazing teams participating. It was good to watch. And if you want to have more information about it, it's still on the M3 site when it gets published tonight. Okay, so now we're going to have a good fun, and the really fun thing is that all the elements of this competition can be eaten. So it's like really fun. Well, I think so. All right. And we are collecting, picking up drinks, delivering some sweets, and we're doing everything but with edible elements. All right. So what you have to do is your robot has to deliver a gift. It has to pick up a fallen drink, which is a box. It has to sort some sweets to share. It has to collect some treats. It has to stack sweet slabs, which is a whole lot of really cool chocolate slabs. And then you have to also show off a party hat. So your robot must balance a party hat on top of the robot, which luckily you can do manually. All right. So what is given? What is the problem? Where are we going? So it seems all easy. We'll do this and then that and that. But then you're not going to have enough time. Okay. And so do you understand? Then that's where the strategy comes in to say, okay, is there something we can do? Remember, you only have 120 seconds. You only have 2 minutes to do all this. And so that'll be part of the constraint. So what are some of the solution options? Can you do it better? There is a challenge document, and all those documents are uploaded on the Mooc portal. Okay. So the mat looks like this. And for once, we don't have actually printed mat. We just have with masking tape or insulation tape. All right. So your board, you're going to stick it down with insulation tape. It's 114 centimeters by 114 centimeters, and you mark these things then with insulation tape. You mark the positions, and then you're going to. So this is the base. The robot must fit into base. We're going to have some videos as we go along. We'll share that with you. But that is the start. So it looks easy. It's like easy peasy. All right. So you have, number one, you've got to deliver the gift there. Number two, you've got to put up the juice bottle has fallen over. You've got to put it up straight. The sweet box, you've got to put sweets into the box. The cup of sweetness you've got to lift and put there, and then stacking the delight, you've got to actually stack the chocolates on top of each other. Okay. But there are requirements, okay? So with any robot that you build, there are requirements. So the rules have kind of changed about robot size. So what we've said is, what the organizers have said is, it has to fit into base, okay? So when you start, it must be totally in base. And at any time, it may not be more than 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters. So you can't just extend a long arm and go and fetch something. That's not possible. All right. The next thing you have to think about is, okay, so you've built this chassis of a robot. What about attachments? Okay. And how about we make them multifunctional? So we use the same attachment for more than one mission. Okay. We're definitely going to need sensors. Definitely going to need sensors. And then for programming, so we can do the basic navigation. Then you've got to program the attachments, and then you've got to program the sensors. So you already see, and then. So now we're getting to a strategy of how are we going to put this all together. All right. Okay. I just need to pause here for a minute. So when you solve a problem, as a coach, it is very easy just to give the answer. But then you're not developing problem-solving skills. Okay, you as a coach, you cannot actually give the learners the answers. All right, you can guide them, you can list the requirements, but you cannot give them the answer. All right, so you can identify the parts, and when you do problem solving, it is really a good idea to get lots of big pieces of paper, lots of crayons, lots of Cokie pens, lots of writing, lots of thinking, but you write it all down. Okay. Brainstorming, usually the one that speaks the most, says the most, and usually gets the most done. So maybe brainstorming verbally might not be a good idea, but sketching might be a good idea where they each has their own ideas. Role playing is drama. That has worked a lot for me. And then discussions. So I'll just say how we solve problems in a team. And it develops, and I can honestly say over the years how the team has developed. So initially, we take the challenge in front of us, and we are 8 in the team, so it was always 3 and 3 and 2, and they choose what they want to do. They choose which of the missions they want to do, and then they come up in their smaller groups. They brainstorm with how they're going to do it. So what attachments do we need? What programming do we need? How long it's going to take? And then each of those groups, and then it all comes together, and then we discuss that. Okay, there needs to be some discussion so that not everybody goes just into their own little corner. Right. Okay. So now once you've got the problem, we've got the requirements sorted out. Now we've got to solve each part, which I said we're going to do in groups, and then we've got to combine it, and it's this strategy. So if in a team we've got 3 groups, but the first group's solution takes the full 2 minutes, that's a problem. All right. There needs to, not an equal distribution, a maximum score for each. Okay, and that needs to be kept in mind. All right. For a virtual gear challenge, it's time to collaborate. Okay, and then you allocate each part to a group within a team, and then there must be a collaboration part where everybody comes together. Document your decisions, keep all diagrams, keep all your discussions, keep all your pictures. You might refer to them back later. You might include them in your engineering notebook presentation of where it comes. But what? Okay, so I'm just going to show you this here. Is it going to play? Oh, wait. See my rope. Now my videos are not working. Oh, my word. Okay. I will have to find the video for you. Okay, so what is the problem? I don't know. None of my videos are working. Oh, wait. All right. So if you look here, I'm just going to put the sound down. This is last year's theme. This was with the Gone tubing. That is how small your board is. There's your robot. It fits into base. You need to look at all the parts. So in this case, you first needed to remove it out the way. So remove it out the way, bring it back to base. Okay. And if you test every single part, oh, that misses it. That was not a good thing. That's out of base. That doesn't count either. This one fetches it. All right. And then not in base. All right. So each part, I really need you to each part, you need to focus on each part. Let me just go out of here. All right. This was a robotics team when we started Virtual Gear in 2014. Each part then fits together, and you will notice that the learners have very quick swap overs when they have attachments to put onto the robot, take off the robot. When we started, we had lots of load shedding. We used Skype because we didn't have WhatsApp and we didn't have all the other things that we have now. But that was also, how do you pull it all together? And this is what it's all about.
Yes, we've had a break. We've had a good break.
Okay, I will do that now. All right, so where do you find the information? The Mooc M3 is going to be published tonight. All the competition details are there. There's a link to register. There's a list of the competition missions. And what you need to do is take everything you have and figure out a strategy. Okay. This is where the Mooc portal is. And that's the Mooc 3 portal. It looks like that. Okay. There's an overview. There's the Virtual Gear Challenge. There's the PDFs. I will upload the PDFs as we go along. And there's sample videos. Now, at this stage of the year, we are not giving away too much. We're not telling you. But as we go along, maybe by June, July, we will start adding sample videos here. We have also left the challenge from last year. We've left all the details there. So if you want to refer back to it and go and look through the material, you are more than welcome. So It's a Party is the 2022 Virtual Gear Competition. And yes, try it. Okay. So there's all your registration details, the mission details, how the challenge mat looks. We are not printing a challenge mat. We're only sticking it down with insulation tape. We really want as many teams as possible to register and participate. You're welcome to register as a team of coaches. And just to try it out, we're going to be introducing it to our students, and our students also going to be registered as a team, and they're going to participate in that as well. All right. The sample videos, well, there's two documents there. The one was with a Spike robot, and the other one was with an EV3 robot. All the missions that took a while to collate, and so we're busy collating it for the It's a Party challenge. But we don't want to give too much away yet. So if you have a really cool video, and I'm really looking forward to sharing. If you have a really cool video that you don't necessarily want to enter into the competition, but you'd like to share it with the community, please send it to us, upload it to YouTube, send us the URL, and we'll add it to this collection. And it's, you see, it's all easy for us to say, well, the robot must not be in base, or the robot must not lose something, but we use it in our teaching. All right, we use it in our teaching. Okay, so your assessment for Unit 1, there is an assignment, but it's a paragraph that you have to write. You don't need to do it now. It's available till the 30th of November, and maybe after you've entered teams into the competition, you might have a better idea of kind of how to go about it, how to create a strategy where you divide it up into parts and then put everything together. And maybe it becomes more clearer as we go through the units of this thing. All right. So now, and there's our contact details. The top one is for our ISET ISET email, and then myself, but it'll be easier if you just send it to ISET, and Anzani will deal with you there as well. Okay. And then consider entering a team into the competition. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing because I'm going to let Tomelo share how to access the Mooc portal. Tomelo, do you want to show?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I see also Microsoft Teams have been upgraded. It's lovely
Yep.
to see you as well.
Yep. M3 will
Alright.
be published hopefully tonight.
Can you see my screen?
Perfect. All over to you. Thanks, Tamelo.
Gentlemen and ladies, this is very simple. So if you'd like to, oh, by the way, Anzani also does this very well. She does it better than me. This is the link to the Mooc portal. So immediately when you click on the link there, this is the page that you will see here. So we simply go to how to register. Immediately when you go to how to register, it will show you this PDF document. The PDF document is the instructions on how to register for a Mooc. So step 1, you go to the Unisa Mooc, which is what I showed you. Step 2 is creating your own Mooc account. So in creating your own Mooc account, you just click on the tab written New Account. As soon as you click on the New Account tab, you need to fill in your details there, whereby you just create your own user ID and include the following details, as well as create your own password as well. Immediately when you're done, this will be now an opportunity for you to enroll for your Mooc, which is what I'll show you. So when you now have to remember, you have created your user ID as well as your own password. When you click on login, it will certainly show you this page. So when you see this page, underneath the Unisa logo on membership, when you click on membership, this is what you'll see. So you will go on my current sites. So if you have never been here, so this won't show. This, you'll have to go to joinable sites. When you go to joinable sites, you will have to scroll down looking for ISET Robotics M1 2020 or M2. Immediately when you find it, for example, because I'm already registered on it, for example, you go to ISET Robotics M2 2020. This is the welcome page that you will find. I saw Bruce mention that he's facing some difficulties when it comes to logging in, saying that the credentials are invalid. For those of you who are facing challenges in terms of logging in here or any other challenges, please don't hesitate to email us, and then I'll definitely get back to you and help you when it comes to this. I thank you.
Well done, Tamelo. Right. Are there any questions pertaining to the MOOCs? Anybody has any questions? Let me just check the chat here quickly. Right. Okay, I see. Hayden, you said your credentials are invalid, but you'll need to create your own. These are not linked to Unisa credentials, so you can create your own account. Create your own account, and then you can get in there. It should be fine. All right, there we go. All right, so the M3 should be up and running by tonight, hopefully, and then we can start putting all the recordings there as well. Okay. Thanks, Tamelo. Thank you very much. All right. Anybody got any questions? Everybody okay? Maybe by way of figuring out a strategy for a robot. Another competition is like the World Robotics Robot Olympiad competition. That is a whole lot of stuff that the robot has to do, and you need to decide which parts you are going to do and whether you can put the parts together, because the one part is dependent on the other part. It's a very different approach to like the first Lego League competition, where you have 16 or 20 missions, and then each one in and itself can be done and scoring points. So that can be done separately. And then the strategy that you have eventually, the strategy is bringing everything together then. Yeah. And with the strategy, you also have to have, you always have to have the time, how long it takes the robot to complete a mission, and how many points. So it's always with time with his points. Yeah. Okay. Anything else we have to add? Or was it easier said than done? All right. So let's go through the challenge stuff. Go through I'll get them to publish tonight, and then you can go through the material tomorrow morning, and then we'll have lots of teams on the It's a Party Robotics Challenge. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we will see each other and we will discuss the risks and the constraints of a robot challenge. Okay. Is Cabello in the house? Yes, Cabello,
Yes,
would you like to close? Would you like to close? Thank you very much.
Before he closes, Dr. Khoz, I'm really sorry to hijack. I sort of joined late. Greetings to you and the family there. I hope everybody's doing well. So basically, I'll try and recap on the recording, but I just needed to find out that with regards to the M3 material, do we have to purchase it, or do we get from you and the team?
So what material? Okay.
The M3 materials, the challenge, the mat itself, and the...
Oh, okay. No, so this year, the really cool thing is it's a party. So all the elements are edible.
Okay, so there's no specific mat that we need to look into.
No. Let me show you. Wait, let me show you quickly. Wait. So, where's the document? Just give me half a minute. I'll open the document quickly for you. Then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hang on a minute. So It's a Party is mission pieces, mission materials, party materials. Okay, so I've got far too much happening here on my system. I'm going to give you 1 minute, KK. Just hang on a minute. Tochi. All right. So, if I can just get now I've got to share it with you. Okay. So, the mat is the same size, like half an FLL mat. And I'm just going to share this with you quickly. And like this. And like this. Like this. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
So it's again so it's the same size as last year's virtual gear mat, but it's for half a FLL mat. So we need an egg box, we need plastic cup, we need a juice box, those little juice boxes, a margarine tub, an unopened packet of jelly, 3 slabs of chocolate. You might need more if you eat the chocolate in between, but never mind. 2 pieces of paper, and then packed sweets like sparkles or anything. Only 6 of them can be scoring, so the other 6 are for the team to eat whilst they're thinking, but that's up to you. And then there's a packet of jelly sweets, or packet of sweets like jelly babies or jelly tots, that under 100 gram sweeties, and then a party hat for your robot. Okay. Yes. So that's the party. There's all the stuff that you need to buy. I think that's quite straightforward. And I'm just going to close the screen quickly. I'm just going to get the other. Hang on a minute. I'm going to show you what the mat looks like. Give me half a minute to find that document. Score sheets, general, mission details. Okay. And then I'll show you what the robot looks like. Let me just share here. Share. Yesterday. Okay. Okay, can you see now?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So your field mat looks like this. You must just so it's got to be 2 pages. No, I don't want 2 pages. Oh, my word, view a single page. 1 page. Okay. So so that's what if you can see it like it, just put it up a little bit. All right. So there we go.
I can see it. I love it. Looks great. You can already see we're delivering a gift. We are assorting sweets and then collecting them and giving them to different, I don't know what, but I can already see where we're going with this. So it looks amazing.
You can see. Okay.
Yes.
So you just have to get yourself a roll of insulation tape And then that's 114 centimeters by 114 centimeters. You can do 114, 114 as well. So it's 114 by 114. And then you've got to just label 1, 2, 3. That is kind of the on the diagonal there. You put that square, and then that is halfway between those two, and this one is halfway between those two. Easy peasy.
Awesome. Can I be creative and we use the back part of our mat because we already have. So it's black in color, but the items that need to be identified, like the square and everything, and then we use white.
You use white insulation tape.
Yes, instead of black. So because, okay, I think, yeah,
yes.
Team Orange Farm is ready. They're going to be excited about this. I'm happy.
Okay, and then they get to eat the elements afterwards, ne?
They eat?
They eat it. They eat the chocolates and the sweetie.
Oh. I was worried it's going to melt because it looks like each time would need to be able to well, each time we'll need to buy chocolates and it might melt as well because they'll be eating it. Okay, remind me to buy a box of chocolates. But thanks. Thank you so much, and sorry to interrupt.
No, it's no problem. Okay, so maybe on that note, KK, it's also important that you get all ages of teams participating. I think it's really important that we get the little league to compete as well in this competition. So if we get junior teams and senior teams to compete, and then just to see the differences. Yeah,
I already have that problem because my guys are running a holiday program, and we've got 17-year-olds that have joined us, and we also have varsity students that have joined us. So it's a problem because they can't enter challenge, and they've been on that challenge mat, you know.
But they can do virtual gear. Yeah.
So they can. So I'm just gonna get them to do virtual gear, so that will keep them excited.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Okay.
And they were actually asking if they can actually register as well for the Moocs because the ages are like 17. Okay.
Absolutely.
So like,
no age limit to that. All right. So the M3 will be published tonight, overnight. And so all the documents and everything is on the M3 Mooc portal. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Host.
Yeah, you had some really cool robots last year's virtual gear competition, hey?
Hey, Dr. Host, you should see. I'm sorry, I'm not bragging, guys. You should see the challenge robots. Yo, South Africa is not ready for us. But anyway, let's just.
Okay, but now on that note, KK, I need some of your videos. I want to put it onto. We're going to build up a collection of videos to help other teams.
Oh, so I see.
Yeah. So if we can have some of your really cool videos, I want to put them also onto the collection to say this is possible. But just short little videos to say this is how you do this mission. This is what our robot looks like. So for each mission, we can have it look, this is how our robot looks. And maybe change, maybe bring some different kinds of designs on board. Let's just get some diversity in the robots as well. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do, Dr. Host. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, so we might have a couple of rounds of virtual gear. We can have a autumn grouping and a summer and a winter.
I was actually thinking that on the virtual gear we can have a girls robotics competition to celebrate Women's Day, and everything is on the mat. Think about it.
That's a cool idea. We can okay. I'm gonna put it up. I'll put it to the organizers. Okay. We can also do a Mandela Day one and see how many points can you score in 67 seconds.
Yeah, that looks awesome. That sounds very awesome.
And
just another thing, I also meant to ask you about this Imbewu ISET competition I saw.
Oh, that's the Robothon.
Is that the Robothon one? Okay. Is it only schools that enter that, or?
No, that is anybody can enter that one. Yeah, that's on Heritage Day.
Okay, awesome. Got it.
Okay, but I'm just going to make a note here on the Robothon. You should be able to, as an NGO, be able to go and enter teams on that.
Yeah, that's that. I saw that when we tried, they only specified that it's for schools. So, but it's also okay because we're raising teams at schools. But please be aware that it doesn't really state that organizations can enter.
No, the Robothon should be open to everybody. Okay, I've just got it on my list here. Okay.
All right.
Good. Sure.
Awesome.
Sure. That was a lot of information. Anybody? Thanks, KK. All right. Sure. A lot of information there. That was good. Thank you, KK. Anybody got anything else to add? No? All right. Okay. Then we're finished for the day. Camilla, have you closed already? Or am I missing something?
Okay, thank you everyone for attending today's session. And thank you, Gege, for that last minute engagement. I think it has opened more ways and more eyes so that people can also know what to do. So without wasting any time, I'll close today's session and we'll see each other tomorrow. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Stay well, everybody. Bye.